friends, and welcome. My name is Dr. Heather Carton, coming to you live from Ask Dr. Heather, and I am ending or getting towards the end of my monthly extended fast. We call it the Keto Supplemented Reboot Fast. Actually going to end tomorrow. So just want to touch base. I've been getting some questions about why do you fast? Is it really healthy? Growing up, we were told you shouldn't fast. I know that is the 80s mentality. So I want to address your questions tonight. So as you're joining, let me know where you're joining from, what city, what state. Let me know if you actually do any fasting, maybe some intermittent fasting on a daily basis. Maybe you do some religious fasting on weekdays, weekends, monthly fasting. Just want to address some questions. I know that in the 80s we were taught you absolutely must eat within 30 minutes of getting up. You need to have mini meals throughout the day. Well, we all see what's happened. Doing that throughout the 80s and early 90s has made a storm of a mess. We start to look at diseases of lifestyle, which are things like heart disease and cancer and diabetes, autoimmune diseases. We have mental health issues, which have all started with us overfeeding, overeating way too often. So it makes sense. We should go back to the basics, go back to how our bodies were designed. We were not designed to eat 24/7. We were not designed to eat 17 times a day. We were not even designed to eat 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. So amazing things happen when you give your body a rest from stuffing food inside your mouth. Yeah, I said stuffing food inside your mouth, but consuming food. Because think about that for a minute. There are so many things that happen from the moment that you actually put food in your mouth, the whole digestive process. Because when we eat, first of all, what happens, we eat, our body says chew the food. We have the salivary enzymes, our glands within our mouth that are dumping enzymes to help break down that food. We're chewing, where our taste buds are getting tagged, they're getting overexcited, they're telling our brain, it tastes good, it tastes delicious. I remember when I had that taste before, it's sweet, it's salty, it's sour. Then it's saying, hey, get ready to dump enzymes from your pancreas to your spleen to your stomach. And then once your stomach actually dumps in hydrochloric acid, B12, then it passes over, gallbladder does a little squirting of some, if there's fats in there, some squirting of some bile salts. Then your liver, if healthy, has to sift and sort and tags. Then your small intestine absorbs nutrients and brings it into the blood cells, whether it's a protein or a fat or a mineral or a vitamin. Then your large intestine has to get ready to actually absorb and get ready to evacuate. So many things happen. There's actually more nerves in your intestines or your gut than in your spinal cord. So many things are happening from the moment that you eat, even the smallest meal to the largest meal. Think about that time you've actually overeaten on a holiday. You're like, oh, I totally shouldn't have eaten that much. Or maybe you've gone out to dinner, a buffet, or maybe you've gone out on a super amazing date with your family and thinking, oh, I wish I hadn't eaten so much. I totally don't feel good. It's because you've over-aroused your nervous system. You've overstuffed yourself. You're asking your body to digest all this food at one time. Not super healthy for you. Think about this. When you're not eating, what's happening within your body? Well, amazing things can happen, especially when you go moments without eating. I've been posting a lot, hopefully, in my story, but let's start at the top of your brain. When you fast, which means let's say you go 8+ hours without eating, because the amazing thing happens as you start to go longer and longer without eating, like 12 to 15 to 14 to 16 hours. So again, thanks for joining me. As you're joining, let me know where you're joining from. Let me know if you've ever participated in any fasting, whether it's intermittent fasting on a daily basis or short-term fasting or for religious reasons on a weekly or monthly basis. So let's talk about what happens in your brain. When you fast and you're not digesting food, your cognitive repair actually improves. Your memory improves, your recall actually improves because the energy is now going towards your brain. It's not going towards digesting and sifting and sorting food. Now the energy goes towards your brain. Hippocrates used to have his students actually fast up to 17 hours before they would actually attend class. He would check their mouth to make sure they hadn't eaten anything because he wanted them to be their brightest and the most brilliant students, to have their game on, to have their head there. So we know that what happens when you're not eating, your brain actually gets better memory, better recall, better fuel source going to your brain, more oxygen to your brain. We also know that when you're not eating, your brain actually starts to repair neurons, something called brain-derived neurotrophic factor happening. You increase plasticity, which is that repair that happens within your brain. You actually also help promote stress resistance within your brain. So I'm just going to move on down the body to your heart. So your cardiovascular system, when you're fasting, you actually lower your resting heart rate. So if you start to do intermittent fasting and have that last meal 3 or 4 hours before bedtime, you're going to find your morning heart rate is actually lower in the morning, which is a great thing. It's actually helping promote a healthier cardiovascular system. You're also going to see that your blood pressure actually lowers when you're fasting and doing even intermittent fasting, but overall an extended fast, whether it's 24, 48, 60 hours, it overall lowers your blood pressure because you're not putting stress on your cardiovascular system by digesting food or having hidden food allergies or hidden food toxins. Great for your cardiovascular system. Again, reduces stress throughout that. Let's talk about your blood system that goes throughout the entire body. So we know that one thing it does is actually reduces the amount of glucose. It actually increases your insulin sensitivity, which means you're using less insulin overall, which is a great thing because you want to save it for a rainy day or for the latter parts of your life when you hit your 80s and 90s or 100 and plus. So when you're fasting, you're saving the insulin for a rainy day. You're using less glucose overall. You're storing less glucose. You're actually getting rid of the stored glucose and glycogen, which is a great thing. You're also reducing the oxidative stress on your body. Less stress is a great thing. That's called anti-aging, when you reduce the oxidative stress and allow your body to improve and repair. Let's talk about what happens in your muscles when you're fasting. Well, when you're fasting, you're not tearing down the muscles. You're not dumping in toxins into your muscles. So you increase insulin sensitivity because you reduce the insulin load, which is a great thing. You also increase efficiency. We know working out in a fasted state actually have better muscle action because, again, the energy is going towards the muscle movement, not towards digestion or where the gut is. You also increase your endurance. You're much more efficient. Your muscle memory is better. Memory of the brain, memory to the muscle memory is better. Fast twitch is much better when you're actually working out fasted. You also have a reduction in inflammation because there could be potential foods that you're eating pre-working out, and then you go to work out, your body's sluggish, it's slowed down because now it's digesting food instead of doing the muscle memory that you want it to do or the activity. And then if you're having foods that are feeding inflammation, say you have a sugary drink or a smoothie, or you have cakes or cookies or pies or a bagel or pasta before you work out, that all breaks down into glucose and sugar. If you're working out fasted, far more efficient body that's actually now just focused straight on working out. Let's move to the fat cells. What's happening in the fat cells while you're fasting? So, hey, Charity, thanks for sharing. I love that you're sharing that information. So your fat cells, again, we all need to have some fat cells. Men need to have 9 to 12 to 15%, depending on your age. Women need to have, 18 to 26%, again, depending on your age. We all need to have some adipose tissue because fat tissue is thermogenic. It helps coat our joints. It also helps coat our skin between our layers of muscles. It actually helps keep our insulation for our body. It helps form the shape of our body. So it actually can be good to have a good amount of fat tissue, but we don't want to have too much. But when you're fasting, what can happen is lipolysis. Your body's thermogenically burning the unwanted stored fat that you want to get rid of, helps shrinking those fat cells. Remember, you have the same amount of fat cells. You just want to get rid of the toxins and store that's in there. And that happens when you're not feeding, because when you're eating or overfeeding, your body has to put the extra amount of stuff in those fat cells if you're not burning it. When you're fasting, your body can say, hey, let's get rid of the extra stuff. It's kind of like that deep cleaning that can happen in your garage or your closets. Same thing, or drawers. The same thing happens when you're fasting. You're getting rid of that extra fat that's in that. It's called lipolysis. You're burning through extra stored fat. You're also reducing that inflammation because you're getting rid of the toxins and fat that are in the stored fat cells. So it's really, really good. You're also reducing leptin, which is your hunger hormone. You kind of help that turn on and off of the hunger hormones. So what's happening inside your gut? Well, obviously, you're just not breaking down, digesting food. It's not absorbing nutrients. It's not having to turn on and off enzymes. We actually can start to heal things like leaky gut. You can slow down the histamine response if you're having foods that are potential allergens or sensitivities for you. You actually enhance motility because now you can actually get going back where motility needs to be, because oftentimes we're eating foods that actually can impair motility of the gut. Now we can very efficiently hit that reset button, that reboot button, to get get the gut going and resetting that. And then we get repair of cells, autophagy, because now your body can actually repair those cells, the little villi within your intestine, because it's not getting nicked and cut by foods and toxins and you know, artificial flavorings, artificial colorings, because now there's no food in there at the current moment. You can get a better blood flow through there. You get more oxygen. That oxidative stress can be repaired. So great things can happen. I did bypass the liver, which is about right here. So after it passes the intestines, the liver's right here. You deplete the glucose, you deplete the glycogen, which is great because you don't want stored glucose or glycogen because that leads to non-alcoholic fatty liver syndrome. So doing a one time a month or every 4 to 6 weeks, doing a extended fast for 48 to 60 hours, you're going to help that lipolysis to get rid of the extra fat that could be potentially storing around the intestines or the liver, which is a great thing. You also have the capability of increasing ketone production, which is more oxygen, more ATP for the brain and the rest of the body to increase that communication. You're also getting rid of reducing lipid accumulation. So you're getting rid of the potential of accumulating those lousy cholesterol that you don't want to accumulate and getting rid of those extra triglycerides that you don't want to accumulate. There's an amount that we should have, and then the amount in excess, you can actually have a potential of getting rid of the excess while you're fasting. So again, you're just taking a break so it doesn't accumulate and then letting that all sweep out. So hopefully this is helping you understand why it's healthy, because we know, because people ask me all the time, you're really telling, as a doctor, you're telling people not to eat. Yes, I really am telling people to take a break and create a window in which you're letting your gut rest, you're letting the enzymes, the process rest, so it can focus on other things and repair neurons in your brain, repair the immune system, because we know it does so many things. It increases your natural hormones, it increases your natural growth hormone, and when you're repairing things in your brain, it reduces your maybe potential of developing things like Parkinson's or ALS, or when you're repairing plasticity, that's what can potentially happen. You're doing preventative care. Kind of like brushing your teeth every day. You can go a couple days without it, but if you went several years without it, then you know what can happen. So just to review what can happen, the benefits of fasting on your brain is that you increase focus, repair, plasticity, increase neuron production and repairing what could potentially be broken. Lymphatic system has the time to clean out, get rid of toxins and other things. Your heart, as you know, you can actually decrease your resting heart rate, decrease your blood pressure because there's less stress on there. Your gut has a time to repair and rejuvenate. Fat loss is also a bonus because you're cleaning out the lipolysis, you're increasing thermogenesis, you're also resetting those taste buds, which can be so important sometimes. That way you lose the cravings for things. You actually can properly reset your stomach in about 48 to 60 hours so it shrinks back down. So great things can happen, and it also helps calm down the nervous system. We know when you're eating, your nervous system is so busy doing this and this and this. Well, when you actually stop eating for a small window of time, you calm down the nervous system. So many of us are living in this fight or flight world. We're go, on. We can't get to sleep. We can't turn it off. Our thyroid won't turn off. It won't turn on. Our adrenal glands in overdrive because it's sifting and sorting, and we're exposed to toxins. Well, we can't control what we're exposed to. Sometimes we can't control how our jobs go. Sometimes we can't control how finances go, or if we have a flat tire, or if your computer does funny things. But we can control what and when we put things in here. We can't control the choices that we put within our mouth or on our plate. And that's one thing that I want to actually, hopefully you learn tonight, is that it is healthy to actually take a break from eating in a proper form. And then when you do refeed, that you know it's important to put amazing, high nutritious, high quality nutrients in your body in small quantities. And we'll talk more about refeeding tomorrow. I've got some previous videos on that, but you want to put in some prebiotic foods. You want to put in some healthy greens, some very easily digestible proteins like white or pink fish or some poultry. You don't want to go all in with this big omelet with all this cheese and all this bacon and all this ham and all these nitrates. You just cleaned out your body. You just cleaned and gave it a nice big rest. You want to nourish it and put it back in with above ground greens and things like arugula, which is liver loving and so healthy for your gut. So you want to be nice and kind and put back in all those amazing things that your body needs to nourish it. So we'll talk more about that tomorrow. Wanted to check in with you and see, answer those questions about why and when, who should I fast? So I intermittent fast every day, which means I try to eat in a 6 to 8 hour window every day. I do a 24-hour fast at least once a week, which is a lunch to lunch type of fast. And then one time a month, I do an extended fast, which is this week right here. So I did walk through the steps yesterday in my video, just saying what happens at 12 hours, what happens at 18 hours, what happens at 24 hours, what happens at 60 hours, what happens at 72 hours. So you can see that guideline down below. But hey, Jan, hey, Tasha, hey, Amy, Vicky, thanks for joining. Don't forget to hit that share button. And as always, it's been an amazing pleasure to have you join me here tonight. Hey, Scott, what's happening? Love your car. It looks so fantastic. Ready to go for a ride in that, dude. Anyway, thanks again for joining me, guys. Hopefully you learned a little bit tonight about your body. And if you have questions about fasting, I do have about 40 plus videos over on my YouTube channel, Ask Dr. Heather. Hopefully I've given a little bit of inspiration on why and when, and hopefully you can learn how to do a little bit of fasting. Remember, it's a muscle that you must build. You just don't jump into a 60-hour fast or jump into a 48-hour fast. You simply start by just squeezing that time in first. Stop eating 3 or 4 hours before bedtime every single night. In the morning, wake up, have water, truly wait till you're hungry. Don't just eat because you're walking out the door. Don't just eat because it's 8 a.m. and you always eat at 8 a.m. Wait until your body tells you you're hungry. Have water first, because oftentimes we're dehydrated. We lose a pint of water at night while we're sleeping and we're not really hungry. Or we overdrink coffee, because caffeine can actually create the leptin hunger cycle. And that's another reason to fast. You reset that leptin cycle. So again, there's amazing things that you can actually learn if you just learn to listen to your body and let your body be its own guide to your health. And you can learn how to live a little bit healthier so we can live longer and feel amazing as that clock turns again, as it just did. It's 2022. Anyway, Happy New Year, you guys. Thanks for joining me. And you guys have an amazing evening, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.